A person living on Skid Row, firing up fentanyl every day, nodding out. And then you take a person who's a Cy Young winning 24-year-old who just signed a $100 million contract. Okay, the value of those two lives are not the same. They're not the same. This person doesn't care about their life. Their life is going to not be anything special until they're just going to nod out and die. This person has the life every single person who has ever been born wants. And she tried to take that from him for no better reason than money. So recently we've been discussing a lot of Me Too's, like some questionable Me Too's that have been floating around. Russel Brand, Tim Ballard, Dave Portnoy. I don't know. I would assume you would think there'd be a Joe Rogan one by now, but apparently he's got his hands clean. But nonetheless, right? A lot of these stories where everybody's kind of like, I don't know, man, this just doesn't really sound right. And right in the middle of this, we have the most egregious fake Me Too get exposed in the history of Me Too or of fake allegations. If this girl does not go to prison for decades for this, then we have a serious problem. I would say it's fair to say that a lot of people have thought we had a serious problem anyway, but I'm talking like a 1 + 1 = 2, something needs to be done, serious problem. This girl needs to go to prison. She needs to go to prison. She needs to go to prison for, I'm not talking 7 years. You're talking 20 years, 25 years, okay? She needs to lose her life for this, okay? I think she's probably 25. I think it's about fair. She comes out when she's 47, something like that. That's the amount of time this girl should sacrifice for what she got caught doing. End of story. Not going to convince me otherwise. Now, let's go through the details of this case. And then we could come back to the major problems with the Russel Brand and the Tim Ballard and all of those things that we've been talking about. Now that we have a specific case where someone got caught so blatantly red-handed in the most egregious and predatory. I've never seen anything like this. And I guarantee you, as a matter of fact, I know you haven't. I pay attention to this stuff. There's never been a story like this. All right, so now, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, I would appreciate it if you did. We're blowing up, son. And you want to know why? We're blowing up is because we're telling the truth. We are taking the right side of things, and we're telling the truth. That's why, all right? I'm going to give you two prefaces before we get into this thing. One, I'm going to blow up during this video. I'm not going to do a good job trying to stay calm. I'm actually not going to try to stay, I am going to try to stay a little bit calm because I'm going to say a lot of words that I would have to go through and edit afterwards. You're not allowed to say the C word about girls, for sure, and I for sure would call her that at least 45 times if I don't temper myself. But also, here's the other thing. Why am I going to blow up like this? Simple. It is extraordinarily rare where you uncover outright evil in the world, okay? And I'll tell you what I mean by that, okay? So I used to have a second channel, as some of you guys know. Most of that actually all of that content is on the other channel that rhymes with Gumble, okay? You can search Jesse on everything with no spaces, and you will see that entire library of content over there. Now, one of the main things that I take for granted in every single story that I cover is that when you're trying to figure out what's really going on, right? If you're going, oh, this guy's buying all of the farmland in the world, and now he's saying that you can't do this, and you're going to get mandated to do that. If you're trying to understand who's doing what, you always have to fall back to, how can this person tell themselves a story that makes them the good guy, okay? Because almost always, there has to be a narrative that a person can tell themselves about why they're doing the right thing, right? And that doesn't mean they're right. As a matter of fact, that doesn't mean they're right at all. They have to be able to tell themselves that they're right most of the time, okay? 98% of the time, a person is not going to just behave outright evil, okay? This is one of the exceptions, which is why this girl is going to be on the wrong side of so much verbal abuse in this video. I just don't know. It's like, it's like an American Sniper. It's like there's wolves, there's sheep, and there's sheepdogs. Not all sheepdogs are very good at controlling themselves, and I am certainly one of those, and I'm not good at controlling myself. So I'm going to say a lot of really mean things about this girl, and she deserves all of them. All right, so let's jump into this thing. So Trevor Bauer settles legal dispute with the accuser, reveals damning text messages. Bauer revealed messages and texts from his accuser to friends. Now, before we get into the uncovered evidence that puts her in the category that we just talked about, you need to understand the background on this story, okay? So LA Dodgers Cy Young winning, very young pitcher Trevor Bauer had the world by the Gotsies. He's a superstar. He signed a 9-figure contract. Again, keep this in mind, with the LA Dodgers. This is happening in LA. And out of nowhere, he's had no history of any kind of accusations or any kind of trouble. There's no warning signs about anything. He's a white dude. I don't know why that's relevant. I'm just looking at a picture of him. But he's had absolutely no warning signs of any kinds of problems. And all of a sudden, an LA court gets a restraining order filed against him, claiming that he had victimized this girl with sexual violence, okay? And he was immediately put on temporary suspension by Major League Baseball while they did an investigation, okay? Now, here's the other thing. Major League Baseball is on trial on this video also, all right? Now, I realize I probably should have put that at the beginning of the video, but what the girl did is so egregious that even when Major League Baseball destroyed his career, they still are so distantly in second place for who needs a reprimand for this story that I didn't even think about it. But they put him on a temporary suspension, right, while they investigate. So it's LA County. What are the odds that a person who has been accused of violence against a woman is not going to find themselves with a granted restraining order against them, right? Think about what I'm saying. It's LA County, the most woke, yay, me too, any kind of racism they can paint, any kind of famous person with a sexual assault case, they're going to try to bury them in jail, right? And in LA County, they denied the restraining order, okay? So we didn't know a whole lot about what happened there. They also obviously declined to press charges. We didn't know what happened other than they decided not to move forward, and just common sense, you're like, all right, well, if they didn't move forward in LA County, there must be something wrong with the case, right? So turns out that the judge had actually said that they felt that the woman had misled the court, and that's why they didn't do it. Now, according to the woman, and according to the report that was generated by her going into the clinic, into the grape clinic, there were pictures of her with a broken nose. Her eyes were black, so she had black eyes, broken nose. They said in the report that they had never seen a girl whose lady parts had been brutalized like that before. Okay? It's like, why would you not think that he did this? She goes in there and has documented black eyes, broken nose. Her lady parts have been brutalized. And she's like, he did this to me. Now, if me making fun of a girl with brutalized ladies is turning your stomach, sit tight on that, all right? Just hold judgment until we get to the later parts of this video. He did this to me. I'll never be the same. He took something from me. So the reason, apparently initially, that the restraining order did not get granted is because the guy, what's his name, Trevor Bauer, showed text messages at the time that were like, hey, she had asked him to be rough with her, right? And trust me, this is not even close to the bad part. She had asked him, and she had really aggressively asked him that she wanted him to be rough, okay? So apparently, so when I first heard this, I was like, I'm like, all right, so she asked for it. Then I saw the pictures of her face and all that, and I'm like, listen, if a girl that I barely know is like, Jesse, you know what I want from you is I want you to hurt me. I'd be like, what? She's like, I want to come over there and I want you to really put it on me. Like, I want you to hurt me bad. I'd be like, listen, that sounds hot, except not really, not really into that. As sexual kind of roles go, I'm what you would call a pleasure dom. Okay. Like, I don't get off on hurting people. The exact opposite, right? If you're like a regular girl, you're going to love what a pleasure dom is. If you're a girl who likes to get your ass kicked and get beat up, I'm probably not the right guy for you. You're hot, but I just don't think this is going to work out. But nonetheless, I can understand a single, pitcher like who's like, all right, if she wants me to do it, whatever, I got it documented here, we'll do whatever. So if he would have done these things, she asked him to, it is what it is. Except that it sounds like, or turns out that he's not into that either. Had a similar disposition as me, where he wasn't going to play that game at all. But the fact that she had text messaged him all those things got him out of the initial legal issues. So they get into a civil litigation. And finally, now that the case is settled, Trevor Bauer gets to tell everyone about what really happened here. And we're going to review this and then discuss why this girl should be in prison for 2 decades minimum. Let's watch.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers.
These are her text messages to her friends. Okay? These just got exposed. These are the things she sent to her friends. Buckle up, dude. This is before he ever met her.
A text Lindsay Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is 51 mil, she said. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you 50,000.
Whoever that guy is, if you know that guy personally, whoever that San Diego pitcher is, we're in the martial arts community, right? So I think it's fair to say probably a handful of you guys that might know him and also might be able to subdue him violently. If you ever see that guy out, I'm not actually suggesting this. Maybe. You should strangle that guy unconscious, take every single thing that he has in his pockets, strip him naked, and throw him into the middle of the street with a sign around his neck that says, this is what happens when you get on board with That's too much words. Just strip him naked, throw him in the middle of the street. Okay? That's what this guy should get. Strip him naked, throw him in the middle of the street. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying if he was going to get what he deserved and somebody wanted to be the hand of justice, strip this fuck naked and throw him into the fucking street. Continuing.
Lindsay replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent.
Good job, as you should have.
In August of 2021, Lindsay Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsay Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata.
So, just so we're clear of what you're looking at, okay? She threw herself at this guy, Trevor. He invites her over as any young person. She looks hot enough. So Trevor Bauer invites her over. He smashes, as you are obviously allowed to do. If single dudes in their 20s are going to go to jail or have their life ruined for having sex with girls that throw it at them on the internet in the Tinder age, how many people do you think are going to be not in prison that have any kind of personality relation to any of us? Okay? They're all going to jail. They're all going to jail. They're all having their lives ruined. Everybody smashes on Tinder now. And so he smashes, and then in the morning while he's still asleep, she gets up and takes a video of herself and gives one of these like, look at what I did. And what she's doing right there is she's giving a wink and a nod to the people that she's conspiring with to put a criminal rape charge on him, which her intention is to then secure his millions of dollars. That's why she's there. She trapped him sexually. She said it outright. She's going to lie. She's like, I'm going to bang this guy. I'm going to pretend he beats the shit out of me. And then I'm going to take all of his money and then bury him in jail. That is what she's doing. Now, how did she look after this? And she obviously has no marks on her face, no nothing. when she goes to the clinic, somehow between then and when she gets to the clinic, someone has broken her nose, given her 2 black eyes, and then brutalized her baby parts down there. Baby parts? Lady parts. Okay? Now, I am not someone who understands the justice system, as it were. Like, what is she facing legally for a thing like that? I'm more of a, what do they deserve guy? You know? What's she deserve? What does she deserve? Now, I feel a little bit weird talking about it since she's a girl. It's a lot easier when you got this picture. You know, like all the picture did is he's like, you got to get that bag. I'm like, strip him naked, throw him in the middle of the street, humiliate him, take everything he has. You know, autopilot. Literally all he did, she probably sex trapped him too. And he's like, I'm not even in the league anymore. She's all, fuck, there's no money to get. She's all right, whatever. You have any ideas of how I could actually entrap someone who does have money? He's all, dude, get the bag, baby. Get the fucking bag. It's like, you stupid pussy. Strip him naked, okay? Strip him naked, throw him in the street, humiliate him, put it on TikTok 100 different ways. I am restraining myself right now. Shove things where they'll hurt. Like in his ear. Yeah. In his ear is what I meant. In his ear. And all he did is sign off on it. If she wasn't a girl, read my mind. Well, actually, just read my mind. What do you think she deserves? What does she deserve, do you think, inside of my brain? So, yeah. Pure evil. Okay, let's watch her face again. Let's just watch this girl's face again.
So there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house.
Look at this.
On the morning of May 16th, 2020.
Got him.
Without my knowledge or consent.
Got him. One more time. Watch her face. Got him.
House on the morning of May 16th,
Got him.
2021. Without my knowledge or consent.
So, yeah, that. Now, let's go ahead and take this story and just apply it more broadly to the world that we live in right now, right? So this girl, right? This one, just one more time. This girl, you know, this girl got him.
Dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th,
Got him.
2021.
That girl did this to him. And then we also simultaneously have Russel Brand have his entire livelihood, well, a good chunk of his livelihood taken away because a couple girls anonymously said that he did things that are kind of questionable. Kind of questionable. Yeah. Are you serious? I read a couple comments on videos the video that I did about that earlier, and they were like, they're like, you want to know what's really happening? I was like, what's happening? They're all, justice. I was like, justice. He effed around and found out. He effed around and found out. Are you talking about like he talked about the military industrial complex? Are you talking about he exposed, pharmaceutical companies? Or are you actually saying that his sexual behavior is what he effed around and found out about? They don't respond because they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But so we're going to destroy his life based on what? Because two girls anonymously told stories from 10 to 17 years ago. So we just blindly just believe them. We just blindly believe these girls that literally have zero reports done then. They have nothing supporting their stories, not one lick of evidence, nothing. We don't even know if they exist. We have no idea whether they even exist because crooked journalists are putting these stories out without a single bit of accountability. Since when can they even do that? Since when can they even put out accusations without a person attached to it? And you want to know why they're not allowed to do that? Got him.
Morning of May 16th, 2020.
Every time I look at that, I have this crazy, I can't really describe it because, yeah, I shouldn't say it out loud. I probably shouldn't. I should just, I should not say anything right now. Anyway, so Russel Brand, life destroyed, anonymous accusers. Now we've got a real accuser on record, criminal, who made a mistake of talking out loud to her friends in advance of what she did, right? Oops. Oops. She had someone physically beat her up to frame him in order to get the bag. Oh, he's going to go to jail for 25 years on this, right? Huh? He's going to go to jail for 25 years on this, maybe. I don't care. So this is where the video went totally off the rails. And I forgot to put the members only version up from yesterday with the aerial one. So I took this video and then put that behind that one. And that whole thing is going into members only. There's a fair amount of unique stuff from the aerial one in that video. And this one, I can't even allude to what I said on the back half of this video. And I would challenge anyone who is a members only person to take a look at what I said and then tell me that I should have put that in my regular stuff. Because I suggested what I thought should happen to her. Not directly, because I was trying to talk around it. But when you figure out what I was saying, well, anybody's going to know exactly what I was saying. That's not for public consumption. You got to pay to see me talk that crazy. Anyway, so that's there. But I will say this. What I can say publicly in front of the paywall is that girl needs to go to prison. Bottom line. Needs to go to prison. I don't see how what she did is any different from premeditated murder. At the very least, premeditated attempted murder, If he ends up doing 25 years in jail, it's not that he has no life after that. He comes out when he's like 50. But what she would have cost him is a life of a Cy Young winning baseball player. Now, we can all pretend that all life is precious. Everyone's life has just as much value as the next. Not true. Not true. Not true. Not even a little bit. Okay? A person who is addicted to crack and meth and fentanyl living in Skid Row in Los Angeles, firing in this, a person living on Skid Row, firing up fentanyl every day, nodding out. And then you take a person who's a Cy Young winning 24-year-old who just signed a $100 million contract. Okay, the value of those two lives are not the same. They're not the same. This person doesn't care about their life. Their life is going to not be anything special and they're just going to nod out and die. This person has the life every single person who has ever been born wants. And she tried to take that from him for no better reason than money. She tried to take his whole life, take his reputation, take all of his money, take his freedom so she could make some money. She needs to go to prison. Now, like I said, in the members only version, I talked about what she should get before she goes to prison, if there was any karmic justice in the world. And I don't know, just think about, what do you think the craziest thing I could have come up with was? I mean, it's not the craziest. I was really actually trying to restrain myself. But when I watched it back, I'm like, anyone's going to know what I'm saying. And Jesus, probably a little much. I kind of actually take it back. I do take it back, actually. I take it back. I take back what I said in the video. I take it back. I can't wish that on any girl. Because if a person did that, if a person did what I suggested, or people did what I suggested to a person who was innocent, I would suggest that all of them die 100 deaths. So I don't see how I could recommend that happening to this girl just because she's such a bad person. It's when you see people do bad things, if you're kind of wired for crazy like us, or at least a lot of you guys, it really brings out the worst in you. It really does. I was watching this documentary today about the drug cartels and the Jalisco New Generation cartel, who's run by El Mencho. most violent and terrifying cartel ever in Mexico. When they started, their goal was to dislodge the Sinaloa cartel and bring peace to Mexico. That's what they said. They were like, we're just going to get these guys out so that we can have a more peaceful Mexico. And they believed in it. And now they're the most violent, most ruthless cartel ever. So what I mean is, like, you play in the dirt, you get dirty. And if you're wired for combat and you can kind of dehumanize your opponent or someone who you are, you know, you think you're better than because they've done this, you could turn into an absolute monster. Yeah, we did that to them, but they deserved it. You're like, dude, hang on. They deserved it. They did. That was a Sicario. They killed 20 of our guys. Okay. But you made them a skeleton while they were alive. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. Do not look it up. Do not look it up. But that is not a made up thing. These guys. Skeleton. Alive. Alive. Okay? You know what a skeleton looks like? You know what like a skull looks like? I'm not laughing, actually. It's like the most horrifying thing ever. And to be perfectly honest with you, I actually haven't seen it. But I know about it. Something similar than this. I heard about it in a YouTube video. And the guy was like, I cannot stress this enough. Do not look this video up. They turned a living person into a skull. Alive. I don't think there's anything a person can do to where when you do that, you're still the good guy. I take that back, actually. Someone did this to my daughters, dude. If someone did anything in the category that we're even talking about with this picture and the girl to one of my daughters, actually, I'm not saying I would be the good guy, but I would make a human skeleton for sure. Absolutely, for 100% sure. For 100%. And it wouldn't make me feel any better. It would make me feel 0% better. I've thought about this so much, it's unbelievable. Like, just because I have such an overwhelming, like, literally, if you looked at all of my tattoos, 70% of my tattoos are in one way, 50% are in one way or another connected to fuck with my family, I dare you, you know, basically. It's like, what's this a metaphor for? It's like, kill you if you fuck with my kids. Or what's this one a metaphor for? This is the monster, that's me. This is my wife, you know. Like, it's like every single, oh, there's my wife and my baby. What's that terrifying thing behind it? That's me if you fuck with them. Oh, got it. What about this right here? It's like, that's my baby. You know? That's my baby. On a snake and a skull. Right, that's you die if you go near them. Got it. What about over here? It's like more of the same, you know? Anyway, what are we talking about? That's probably enough. I love you guys. Bye-bye.